Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the British Irish Pro League for what is the final week of Season 2. We're delighted to be here. We're delighted to have you joining us. I'm Nuala Lake, jumping into the casting booth for the first time in the British and Irish Pro League. We have no longer producer Thomas, but caster Thomas instead. Is it a promotion? I think it's probably a demotion more than anything.
Yeah, much more likely to say something that'll get me in trouble.
That's true. You do say those things all the time anyway. It's just normally the mic isn't live to the audience.
Exactly. You know what I mean? You can't get cancelled if it's not being broadcast. No, it's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. Unfortunately, Twiggy, AFK, Orion, Deathbed. So to replace those, we have gone for the sort of Aldi equivalent of the two of them, and here I am, lucky to be here. Looking forward to the show.
Absolutely. We pulled in Chris to work the broadcast and left his girlfriend stranded on the side of the road somewhere instead. So, you know what? It is all working out this week, and we are very excited to see the matches that are coming up in Week 5 as well. Because as we said, this is it, the final week, and at the top of both Div 2 and Div 1, it is still all up for grabs. Div 2, the first place will be decided in our first match of the evening, as vigq will take on Shawnee with Quibz and Burntbagels there as well, looking to put the cap on the season. For Burntbagels, a very strong season so far, Thomas.
Yeah, good showing from Burntbagels. Obviously, like I mentioned yesterday, we had the Battle of the Breakfast, and that was an enjoyable game had by all. But strong showing by a lot of people in Div 2. Burntbagels a name that comes up a lot in the leaderboards for some of these maps when you look at them and the overall stats. So looking forward to it. But it always kind of sucks to be the third and fourth seed coming into the battle for first place. You're there. We'll draw attention to them, but ultimately the show is going to be a little bit further up the field.
It is going to be Shawnee versus vigq. Both of them sitting undefeated coming into Week 5, 16 points apiece, 4 in every match that they have played so far, which means that unless either of them comes last in this match and Charged can win in his match, they are locked in. That is our top 2 in Div 2. Both of these players will be getting promoted to Div 1 for Season 3 after this, and all that remains is to see which of them takes down the overall crown. Who is the #1 player in Division 2 of British and Irish Pro League Season 2? And similar story up in Div 1 as well, but we'll get there in a moment because we do have another Div 1 match before we decide who wins Div 1. Our second match of the evening is Hendo, Wizzy, Nobody, and N7, and it's Hendo and Wizzy that all eyes are on in that match.
Yep, we got the battle of my Welsh heritage and the battle of my steering wheel favoritism coming to a front there. I gave it to Hendo, I think, on Cup of the Day in my predictions yesterday. And I'm going to stand with that just simply because of the performance he put on last week against Acros and Epos, one of those two that was in the lobby with him. Put on a really good performance, really showed they can fight amongst the top. So looking forward to that.
And there is kind of a similar story going on there for those two players where with the head-to-heads and the rest of it, both of them sitting in tied third place with 14 points apiece in Div 1. As long as they come first and second, first and third, whoever wins there will lock in a podium place. Third place in British and Irish Pro League, and the other player will be in fourth place. Those are the stakes for our second match of the evening. And finally, we have that all-important first place match. The top 2 seeds coming into the season, sitting first and second, undefeated through the first 4 weeks. It is going to be BOZBEZ taking on EPES. Joining them, Josh and Liffey, but it really is all eyes on Boz and Epos in this one. Too close to call, I think, for a lot of people. It's kind of split down the middle in terms of who people think is going to win here in Week 5, but they are guaranteed, nearly guaranteed, the top 2 spots in Div 1, and one of them will be walking away with the title of BIPL Season 2 champion.
Yeah, really looking forward to that final Div 1 game. It's always good to have undefeated people facing off against each other. Yesterday during Cup of the Day, there was fierce debate about whether or not there was an underdog, which is a fairly good indication that maybe it's pretty evenly matched. So looking forward to that. Again, on that one, I'm just believing in Epos. Yeah, we'll see if he can pull it off.
Yeah, we definitely are. And as we approach game time, it is also a good time to remind you that there is a second stream as well over on twitch.tv/OC_1895. They will be covering action in all of the Div 1 games that we're not covering, and they will also be taking on the Div 2 match as well. I believe they are covering the match between Dansky, Eggy, Keenus, and NMC for that one. And the final match of the night that they're covering as well is definitely one that I think you should have up on a second monitor if possible. You know, maybe open your phone and pull that up, because it is Floyd, Kai, Matty, and Divino, and that is the battle essentially to escape relegation. I think maybe two of those players is not going to be in the bottom 6 places in Div 1 by the end of the evening, and anyone in the bottom 6 places loses their guaranteed spot in Div 1 for Season 3.
Yeah, it reminds me of the metaphor of a load of rats in a bucket. Like, they're all trying to get out, but in order to get out, they've got to clamber over on top of each other, and they're just going to be dragging each other back.
I feel like that's a crab bucket is how I've normally heard that. You know,
rats are just far too similar. Very similar.
Rats are notoriously very nimble, very good at climbing things. The crab bucket makes a bit more sense. Yeah, I think I read that in the Terry Pratchett book first. You know, that the crabs will all be sitting in the bucket, and if anyone tries to climb out, they'll drag them back down. I think, look, there is a world in which they all do get eliminated, I think, and it probably relies on Divino winning, Matt coming second, Kai coming third, and Floyd coming fourth. I would have them all on 9 points, I think, and then potentially all eliminated. I don't know. That'd also be a wild tiebreaker, so I guess that's what we're hoping for, because it would cause an absolute nightmare for the admins. And hey, I'm just here to see a little bit of chaos. But as we say, that will be happening over on the second stream, and we're going to focus in on our first match of the evening here. vigq, Seanywolf, Bagels, and of course Quibz going to be joining us for this. And although I don't see Quibz in server, so have I missed the fact that Quibz is not going to be here tonight? Is that what's happened? No, we're just missing Quibz.
We are missing Quibz.
Excellent. Well, that's fine. That means we get to talk a little bit more, and the people have to look at us for a little bit longer, Thomas.
Good news, we're not missing quips. Because of the banter.
Maybe it was a mistake bringing you on. Yeah.
Cut. I like the cut. I like the cut. Just get him off. Don't give him any credit there. I'm looking forward to this match. I had a poke around at the map stats. The fun thing about week 5, more so than any other week, is that it feels like we're racing on maps we haven't seen for a while. Obviously, there was Liberty last week, which
went very poorly for a lot of players.
Yeah, let's just say no one was living their best life. The pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness was more the pursuit of bonks, liberty, and DNFs. And that was not a good showing by just about anyone, if we're being honest. And then we've also got Sunpedal, which was last seen, I believe, week 1. So we're going to be having some maps that perhaps, if you haven't had time to practice, or if maybe you just rely on a bit more lead time for your practice, there might be some issues there, and I've got some good stats for the vigq and Seanywolf head to head on those maps, but we'll keep them in our pocket.
Yep. I think I'm looking at the same stat as you are for Liberty on this one, and
it's an
entertaining one.
Don't take my stat. No, don't take my stat.
I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't touch your stats with a 10-foot pole. It's going to be enjoyable on that one. And then, as you say, Sunpedal Garden is going to be fun. Just the fact that it hasn't been seen since week 1, that the players did seeding on it originally, played it in week 1, and then it has been out of rotation since. It could be we could be maybe seeing something similar to how Liberty went last week, where players struggle to readjust a little bit, and potentially that throws a little bit of chaos into the mix. You know, I think in a lot of these matches, sure, the first 2 players are hard to split. It's hard to call it out either way, and something like Sunpedal Gardens popping back into rotation, whoever is more practiced on it, could be the difference maker in some of these matches.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Manifest is going to really have to be your rock, your anchor there. Yeah. You're going to have to deliver on that map. You know, you should be very well practiced and drilled on that. And then it's a case of how well have you been able to readapt, because ultimately it's not like it's the first time they've seen these maps, but to readapt to those maps that you haven't had a chance at for a little bit of time. And it'll be interesting. Looking forward to seeing how they do. And let's just say I hope Seanywolf has a better showing on Liberty than perhaps he did last week.
Yeah, it seems necessary, if we're being totally honest here, when we get into the rounds on that map, because having one bad map out of 3 doesn't really work in this format. You really do need to be at least solid on all 3, and then, if possible, kind of pushing ahead on 1. And Manifest delivered a lot of very close racing last week in general. It did kind of seem to be that rock for a lot of players. At times, we saw players managing to get the overtakes there. I think, was Hendo doing very, very well on Manifest in particular in that match?
my retention of things that happen during production is
no,
poor.
you're fine. I'm looking at it. He was the second fastest player on Manifest last week, with the issue being that Wizzy was the fastest player on it as well. So that's going to be pretty tough for Hendo in that match. It was a map that was kind of pushing him over the edge in that match. But look, all around, that's all in the future, and it's all going to be a lot of fun once we get there. Just a quick update. We are still hoping that Quibz shows up at some point. I believe the plan at this point is to go until 10 past. Players are just getting an extended warm-up at the moment, and if Quibz doesn't make himself known by then, we will unfortunately be going ahead with just 3 players, and Burntbagels will probably have achieved by default the best he could hope for in this match. Although Bagels has had a great season, and unironically, there's a non-zero chance that maybe he can push one of the players in this one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, last week was perhaps not his best showing, not his best rollout. Average finish of 20th across all of BIPL, but you've got to take into account a lot of those stats, particularly of the most recent weeks, have had people who weren't competing, particularly in Div 1, so you're sort of imagining that's nearer a 22nd. But has shown good pace. It's been a mixed bag, and hopefully this will be a good day, because if we are stuck with just 3, it would be nice to see all 3 go toe to toe.
Absolutely. I mean, if this does end up being a 3rd place finish for Bagels, who came in as the 13th seed in Div 2, that would be his first 3rd place finish of the season, which, putting that in context, that most of the time he's been playing at least 2 players higher ranked than him in the rankings. Very, very impressive indeed.
Yeah, definitely. Would be impressive to see. I just want to do some overview of some stats, because
please do.
That's
quick
my
flyby, if you will.
Just to give an overview of where we've been, sort of how we've got to where we are now. And one of my favorite stats is that sort of just median time across all the maps. It's our only real measure of consistency that's objective. Obviously, you got the eye test a lot of times, like, they've been consistent. But week 1, the 2 top performing Div 2 players, vigq and Seanywolf. Week 2, they both had a bit of a wobbly week. It was actually, I think, comfortably vigq's worst week so far. But then back to week 3, them 2 were both in the top 3. Charged JT actually stuck one on them there. And then week 4, our most recent week, both again in the top 3, but Seanywolf with a very poor showing on Liberty that without that probably would have put him up there with vigq. So they are the Titans. They have been consistent. They have been fast. And you've got to worry if you're in Div 1, because they're looking up. A lot of their times are comparable to the sort of middle to lower table Div 1 players. But at the same regard, if you're in the relegation zone of Div 1, you got to be happy they're going to automatically promote to Div 1, because that's 2 less players that you don't have to compete with for the next round of seeding. So that'll be, I guess, a saving grace on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I just do want to put in context as well how rough Liberty was for Shawnee last week, because we had 29 players playing last week with, 32 qualified across both divisions. Normally 3 players not playing. And out of those 29 players, Seanywolf was the 21st fastest. And as a player who has regularly been competing at the top of Div 2, kind of semi-regularly beating out players at the bottom of Div 1 on those times, that is significantly lower than he kind of generally places in times on these maps. So it's gonna have to be a lot cleaner, and if it isn't, I think that is really going to be where the difference lies this week. Whatever ends up happening on Sun Petal Gardens, I don't think we're expecting Vig to be that much behind on any of the maps.
Yeah, I mean, 21 is not ideal, particularly when you're fighting at the front end of Div 2. But vigq's had his bad week. Like I mentioned, week 2 wasn't ideal. His average finish across those 3 maps at the time, which was Sourdade, Worm, and Clueless. So a pretty useless stat, all things considered, as it's the 3 maps we're not on. But that was an average finish of 20th, which is only 1 place better than Seanywolf's worst finish in any of these maps. So isn't immune to having a shaky week. And yeah, let's see how that goes toe-to-toe. And do we have any news from the server? Can you report live from the server?
I can report in, and it does appear that, unfortunately, the decision has been made that we will have to go ahead without Quibz. No answer forthcoming so far, which means, the match must go on. We have a scheduled it here, 2 Div 1 matches to get to this evening as well. So we will be playing with only 3 players in this first match of the evening, unfortunately. And I can also report on the mentality of one of the players coming into this match, which is that Shawnee has been repeatedly challenging Bagels for second place, and I think Shawnee is maybe not feeling the most confident going into this match.
Could it be some gamesmanship?
Oh, just trying to let vigq get overconfident? Just a little bit of like, oh, you'll be fine, vigq.
Play
you
on
got
a keyboard, let your little brother play, like just lure them into a false sense of security. What's the first map of the rotation this time?
I believe it's we are going to manifest first of all.
Okay, so that is a map Seanywolf should be. This is probably a representation of the vibe that we're seeing here from Seanywolf. Kind of a little bit upside down. I do hope he can get within 46.8 seconds of Burntbagels.
Yes.
In rounds.
Ideally.
But here we go. Great skin. Always love a good skin. For Seanywolf. We'll, of course, review all the other skins in due time. But, round 1. Burntbagels off to a lead, and I think we will determine the entire outcome of this. I take it back. Not going to try and build a narrative. Like the skin lighting up on breaking. That's good. Skin review.
Sick.
And, yeah.
Bagels has also announced to the server earlier as well that he has swapped from keyboard to controller for this evening, or vice versa. I don't remember which direction it was. Either way, a different input form for Bagels on this one, which it's an interesting choice for sure, and we'll see if it pays off over the course of it. At the moment, vigq and Shawnee neck and neck. It's Shawnee who touches the wall on the way through. vigq out to an uncontested lead, and Bagels overtaking Shawnee on the way through as well. I don't know if we're going to decide the outcome of the entire match based off this round, but so far, a Div 2 round. A couple of touches, nearly everyone making at least one small mistake, but it is vigq leading the way to the finish line. Bagels in second, looking to get cleanly across the line. Ooh! vigq has full crashed. Bagels takes the round win. vigq will take third, and there is a big mistake at the finish line.
Yeah, call up Elon Musk. SpaceX, park it. You don't need that. You just need vigq to send it into a finish. That was outrageous. That was quite wide. Maybe you want to be a bit more the big open pit. I'm loving the adverts, I must say, on the screens. Very grateful, actually, to call back to anyone watching Mini RPG of the Week. Very grateful to not see your face, Nua, on a screen. That's nice. It's a nice change of pace.
It was very in profile, it was a very coquettish picture, if you will. It was really my bedroom eyes were coming through on that one.
Yeah, you sort of looked over your shoulder at me like, ooh, you see this?
My come-hither gaze. Oh, Shawnee's crashed, by the way. vigq had a bit of a whoopsie at the start as well. So there's Burntbagels out to another lead and potentially a second round win in a row. The second's gap. That's time to play with, honestly, to safe it a little bit towards the finish from here.
Yeah, looking good. I'm not going to call any of this until we see them get close to the finish, as we see Kid Cudi there in the background. Yeah, I'm not going to call any of this after the vigq bonk that we saw there early. Seanywolf is on a full reset. Probably would have time to sort of get up, reframe their mind. And Burntbagels, there we go, showing us that you can do the finish properly. And Seanywolf will be taking the coward's way out, or the safe fin, as it's more commonly referred to. And we see a pretty interesting start. Like you mentioned, Burntbagels winning the opening 2 rounds, Seanywolf and vigq sharing an L between them. And now with 11 points to spare, that's 9% of the points total. It's not trivial.
Look, we're a long way off from the end of this match, but what happens if Bagel wins? What happens then? Bagels would jump up to 17 points, and I think would have a decent shot at locking in a top 4. I'm not clear on exactly how it would end up, but I think would have a decent shot of ending up top 4. We're a long way from the end of this match, and look, the time in the last round was a 101.9. It's not exactly what you would expect to be consistent round-winning time on Manifest if vigq or Seany kind of get their act together a little bit here. But at the moment, Bagels is out to an 11-point lead and staying consistent, staying competitive as Bagels does sit just behind Seany. vigq leads the way without an incident, should pick up first round win. It's Bagels who makes the first mistake. Seany and vigq out to the lead and Seany gaining towards the finish.
Yep. Between the two of these here, really trying to see who's going to draw first blood, who's actually going to get the first round victory. And it is close. We're coming into the finish. vigq, you probably going to take it. 2/100ths of a second, 23 thousandths if you want to be even more precise. A better time, like you mentioned, we're almost within a second of world record, which in rounds is good enough. And yeah, first blood to vigq. Seanywolf the first below 100 points. And it's not looking great, particularly in Manifest, which is meant to be Seanywolf's preferred map over vigq.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a big crash at the start. I did want to praise Seany at the end of that round. Really pushed it into the final turn, and it looked like was going to lose the car into the wall. It was a very awkward line as a result of pushing it, but managed to recover and save the round and still nearly take vigq to the line. But it was that kind of slightly awkward line at the end that did hand that win to vigq by 23 thousandths. And it's credit to vigq as well for finally managing to keep it clean and around under pressure and get that car across the line. Has the edge over Seany now. Bagels, very close to walls on the way through here, is still on vigq's tail. Seany is 1.5 seconds behind. Has a bit of work to do here and really is hoping for a crash from one of his rivals.
Yeah, we like to think that vigq has got into the flow of things now with this ending, should be able to bring this home. But Burntbagels is hot on his rear wheels. I do want to just come back to a point. We talked about Burntbagels there, perhaps taking the victory in this match. And I'm not saying we disregarded it, as we get very close to the finish, but I think vigq's take this. I'm not going to say we disregarded it, but it is something that you sort of would consider. That would be a rarity. But ultimately, for Seanywolf and vigq, Burntbagels is largely irrelevant in this match. They just need to beat each other.
The fact that Quibz didn't show up means that they are locked top 2. 100% they are going to Div 1. It does not matter beyond that anymore.
So all they have to do, purely for bragging rights, is beat each other. What happens, and you know, obviously an undisputed season, getting all of those points that you possibly can, getting the maximum, that's great, right? Good for the ego, good for the soul. But the leaderboard, you know, the history books just remember your finishing position. And it will be interesting to see if we see vigq and Seanywolf pushing themselves so hard that just a consistent Burntbagels is able to bring home those points as Seanywolf and vigq find themselves in issues. So that'll be definitely something to keep an eye on. And I just want to come back to something you said earlier about Burntbagels. Keyboard or controller, we don't know. I would have thought a bagel would use a joystick.
Why? Why would you think that?
Because that's the only thing they can hold.
That's disgusting. Get your mind out of the gutter. Oh dear.
What are they doing with the joystick, Noah?
Sentient bagels and their preferred control method notwithstanding, I think it's time to get nervous for Seany. Had a pretty tired performance here on Liberty last week, is now 11 points behind Bagels after Manifest, a map that in theory was the banker, is the one where maybe should have been trying to pull away from Bagels. And we're going live on Liberty now with, as I say, that 11-point deficit. If Bagels gets in a good first round, it is almost definitely time to start to get nervous.
Yeah, and the way the rounds have fallen too, with Liberty being the second map, I think the second map is ultimately the most dangerous because it's the one you come to at the end often, or really at the crunch time for when those points start to matter, particularly once someone has been eliminated. So, yeah, if it's your final map, you may need to end up brawling on it to secure the match, but all you need then is a couple of rounds. But if you need to do 4 solid rounds on this while you're down on 20 to 30 points, then you're going to find a problem. But vigq, the first one to make a mistake on this map, Burntbagels did something at the start that we didn't see, but Seanywolf has then got one in return. We're seeing a lot of bonks. Safe to say, no one's got particularly better on this map with a week to go. Bagels into the wall. vigq trying to catch up. Seanywolf, I'm just assuming, is going to hit a wall again. Noah, what's going on?
Well, Seany is in the lead. vigq is close behind, but this finish is risky. Seany towards it. Seany crashes. vigq will take the win. And it's just a question of who comes second at this point. The answer is going to be Seany. Bagels a little bit too far away. Welcome back to Liberty.
I don't know what to say
Yeah.
because this is not to point out. Seanywolf was particularly, let's say, less than standard on this map last time out, but everyone was bad. We didn't see anyone on Liberty that we were like, oh, look at them, they look well practiced. Like, it was
Yep.
not a good showing by anyone, but they have had another week.
Yeah.
Is it something to do with the map? How was this map in seeding?
It's a great question. I don't have quick answers for you, so instead I'm going to focus on something I noticed during the last round, which is that even apart from the crashes, I think Bagels is looking the least comfortable, was taking kind of the most outside lines, was kind of losing his drifts a little bit more, ending up a bit awkward. And as I say that, Shawnee has had a bit of an incident doing that himself in this round. So Bagels cleaning it up a little bit, Shawnee managing to take the curse instead. Vigq out to a lead, but still plenty of turns left to go where a mistake could happen for any of these players.
Yeah, Seanywolf not having a great time. Not having a great time here at all. Mental is not... Ooh, Burntbagels with the hit. We see Seanywolf comply. Oh, Vigq missed it! What is going on?
Shawnee is having a great time. The best of times, really, in this round. I think it's pretty clear to everyone who's been paying attention that Liberty has the riskiest of the risky fins in our map pack, in the sense that it is by far the one that we actually see the most crashes, the most error on, the precision drive through two poles into a jump that you need to line up at the same time. It's tough, and that is 2 out of 2 rounds for the lead changing hands completely at the end.
Yeah, I think so. You know, you look at Cover the Day and you look at normal sort of BIPL maps. It's called a risky finish. In reality, it's just a speed check finish, right? It's often just, do you have the speed to make this work? If so, yes. If not, take the L, get the slow-mo, get the longer route, whatever. This is just straight up a risky finish. There's you've got to thread the needle, you've got to get the distance right. It's a 3-dimensional risky finish, which arguably everything is, but you're playing you know, you're playing chess here. This ain't checkers. And to see 2 bonks from the leading Div 2 players in this is nice for me, a lowly player, but that bonks every corner, let alone every finish. Seanywolf pulls it inside, won't have the speed. Seanywolf should still bring this home, as Burntbagels was a wee bit behind, but not consistent. Does not bode well. We are only 3 rounds in, I believe, to Liberty, but not boding well. Seanywolf now down on, I think this is going to update. There we go, 76 point. Burntbagels is finding himself nearer to where we were expecting, but it's not like Vigq is staying particularly far ahead. 88 points. Everything is still to play for.
Yeah. I think, essentially 3 rounds now that Vigq has thrown away on the finish line, which would have been 3 other first places. And I think if you look at it in that context, and the fact that Vigq seems to have the pace over the other 2 and just needs to kind of clean up those finishes a little bit, this scoreboard is a little bit deceptive. Vigq at the moment is probably the standout player in this match. The fact that the other 2 have remained so close may not stay that way for long unless someone ups the pace. And that someone probably has to be Seanywolf. At least in this round, Bagels is going to be a long way down with a series of errors there. Shawnee, though, holds the lead from Vigq for now. It's only a couple of tenths.
Yeah, and I just want to keep eyes on this next time we come through. And as Vigq there decides to make friends with the wall, it feels like we're seeing incredibly different lines for the opening of this track. As we see Seanywolf comfortably makes the ending there. Vigq going for the safe finish. Will make it. Burntbagels giving it a love tap on the way through. But I do feel like we're seeing way more lines. Seanywolf there gained 3/10 just on a corner, and it didn't feel like anyone was struggling to get that corner. It was just different lines that people were taking. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on as we return to this map. But for now, we will be going far and away to the wonderful land of the I believe, tapped Magic the Gathering land of Sun Petal Gardens.
Can you tell me what the card text for Sun Petal Gardens is?
I've got a feeling the card isn't actually Sun Petal Garden. I think this card is Sun Petal Lotus. But I believe it's a tap land that gives you health.
Oh, it's Sun Petal Grove.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And actually, it enters tapped unless you control a forest or plains. So, I guess, shows how much you know.
Look, Noah, I can take this into a Magic the Gathering stream. You can take this into a Magic the Gathering stream. But I don't know if you're aware of
Everyone
this.
wants us to take it into a Magic the Gathering stream.
There are too many Zoomers in this, right? Like, we're the
True.
millennials. We play Magic the Gathering. We play Commander. We go to a pub, right? Like, that's who we are. These, for the kids, for the sake of the kids, and by kids, I mean verifiable adults that are in this competition, I think maybe we should avoid the Magic the Gathering jokes.
True.
Until at least Div 1.
What makes this map most interesting to me is the fact that we have entered the map and we have just seen a string of minuses from vigq. So I'm looking forward, I guess, to seeing if vigq ends up in some trouble on this one, because potentially could shake this order back up. Now, back when we did have this in week 1 was comfortably clear of any of the other players in Div 2 on this one, but it's been a while, and if vigq hasn't spent a lot of time playing it, or maybe he's just feeling a bit uncomfortable, maybe we do see that leaderboard change up a little bit at the moment. At the moment, it is Bagels who's behind Shawnee and vigq, but definitely not out of reach just yet, and it all comes down to really who's been practicing the most on Sun Petal Garden in the time we haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, we can't rule out he just has beef with the map maker.
True.
You know, there's always that possibility. Burntbagels finding the wall. This section I really like. Very much a skill test there, which I appreciate. We're seeing them head to head, 5 thousandths of a second, between hundredths even, as they go through these last few checkpoints. It is close. We got the who can pull off the outside dirt, really push it to the outside, and both not perfect, but getting enough as we go to the finish. Speed check. vigq gets the first blood on this map, and Burntbagels brings it home in last place. Maybe some mind games. I did say earlier I thought Seanywolf was playing mind games. I think maybe he's just not on it. Maybe vigq's playing some mind games.
Possible. And the battle between vigq and Shawnee is the one that matters in this one. So if vigq can just keep outperforming Shawnee in rounds, it kind of doesn't matter if Bagels is crashing out as well. Again, this is for Bagels' pride at this point. A second place finish would be great, catapult him a little bit further up the leaderboards, and I don't know, if somehow he manages to hold on, pick up a win with the come from behind at this point, that'd be pretty huge. Throw him a long way up, and again, that'd be a great finish to the season. And like the second place, never coming below second place in a match as 13th seed, it'd be great. It's just good storylines. You know, Thomas, we love a good storyline.
We do. We love a comeback story. We love a underdog slightly overperforming story. This isn't Hollywood. He's not going to win the whole division. I hate to break the news. You know, that's reserved for a 16th split, 16th seed winning the whole thing, one division. We'll do that at some point. But he's going toe to toe, having a good run out here at the start of this end section. That was
close.
That was
a great
very
time
close
as well. Is that PB? No, it's still a little ways off. It's about 8 tenths away from PB there. But vigq, driving very well so far.
Yeah, just for any stats people who are watching, the time attack leaderboard PBs are not working on this sheet. If someone could fix that, that would be ideal. I was about to make myself look very silly and say, oh, it's a PB by 4 seconds, which would be a hell of a optimization to see that. But we see vigq, no drift, according to production. There we go. See, it's good to have somebody who knows something about Trackmania on. And yeah, just deciding not to turn. I'm not going to make it. Seanywolf now with a lot of time to spare can probably afford to safe it somewhat. But like you mentioned, is up against Burntbagels, who is coming after second place.
Yeah, he's definitely looking for it. Shawnee beating vigq, important. Just, you know, managing to claw that point gap a little bit as well, because that's who he needs to beat in this match, full stop. But beating Burntbagels in this round, or in rounds like this as well, where vigq has made the big mistake, that lets you get a lot closer. Bagels, unfortunately, just seems to be more on it. Another 53-1 as a round-winning time. Bagels looking consistent in that range.
Yeah, DNF watch here. 14.5 seconds down at the last checkpoint. 14.9 seconds down now by the last checkpoint, and doesn't get the finish.
Ooh!
That's a big minus 12.
Yeah, it's a big number of minuses in chat from vigq once again as well. But it is, yeah, a little bit unfortunate for the minus 12, and that's great for Shawnee, who manages to catch up that extra 3 points as well, as vigq drops down to 66 on this one. Shawnee on 53, Bagels on 51. Close battle in second and third at the moment as well. And Bagels keeping his name in there. Might have a couple of chances, even if he does drop the last chance first, to try and claw someone down there with them. Managed to crab bucket his way back up into second place.
Yeah, I mean, as we know, I only know about the rat bucket metaphor, but I'm sure the crab bucket metaphor is great too. We're seeing Seanywolf here inconsistent on this map. Burntbagels has kind of shown up on this map. I'll check the stats after this round, but feels like has been up there or thereabouts as I elegantly cast a curse him there, but I think he should be safe for this second place. We did see some errors at the finish here in week 1, but I do feel like these players now are quite comfortable and able to bring it back. So yeah, another loss there for Seanywolf, not having the best run out. To give you some stats, you know me, I love a stat. Vigq, the only one to DNF so far this round, or this match, and Vigq has won over half, 58% of the rounds that we've played, and Seanywolf has won the least, 17% round wins for Seanywolf, for 25% round wins for Burntbagels. Seanywolf's only saving grace is that he is very consistently second place every other round, but needs to start pulling in those first places, because when someone drops out and this three-player battle turns in a two-player battle, then those second places start to hurt quite a lot. So returning now to our first map, which I don't think is Sunpetal. Is this Sunpetal Gardens again?
No, this is Manifest.
This is Manifest, getting absolutely sent by production.
Well, I feel like you could have worked that one out. There's only 3 maps to remember, Thomas.
Look, I press tab, I see what map it is. That's how I do it. Okay, I've got the memory of a sieve. It's all just lefts and rights. They all blend together to me. They all blend together.
All
but
just
no.
drive.
Returning to Manifest, as you said, I knew that, definitely. This was a test. Last time out, Seanywolf did not win a round on this map. Had crashes in 2 of the 4 rounds, and overall, sad face emoji on this one. So let's see if we can turn that frown upside down. Can Seanywolf, who is now a little bit more practice, bring it home and just stem the bleeding, try and win a round, just for me, Shawnee.
You know how the upside down like smiley face is kind of like what are you gonna do about a slightly sarcastic symbol? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a connotation to the upside down smiley face, right?
Yeah,
like,
I find
I'm
emojis...
pretending to be pleased about this, but not very pleased about. I'm just pretending to be pleased about this. What's an upside down sad face then?
That's a great point, because it's almost etymology, right? It's almost what you know, where did these come from? It's the semantics of emojis. I would say that's an answer for Twitch chat. So if someone in Twitch chat can let us know what an upside down smiley face means to them, and that's really how language
maybe
is
it's like crocodile tears, you know, like I'm just fake sad about this. Maybe it is just the same thing. I don't know. Hey, look, just round is ending. We'll get back to it in a second. Vigq will touch a wall. Bagels is very wide, though. Vigq might still hold on. I don't think he's going to be able to beat Shawnee. Is going to be able to beat Bagels just about. Bagels fails to capitalize, but Shawnee will win his first round on Manifest.
Yeah, and Vigq was on a good time there. That was a 101.3 for the win there, and Vigq really gave up 2 to 3 tenths at the moment. With that bonk. So was on a good time, is nice and warm up, but still having those problems, particularly at the end of this map that we saw first time out. And just to bring it back to the emojis, because I like to think of the upside down smiley face as the Wojak, where they're smiling but they're actually raging behind.
Yeah, that's a good, you know what? I mean, probably doesn't make it any clearer for anyone who isn't already terminally online, but you're right, that is a good analogy.
Yeah, Seanywolf bonked. So
yeah.
So let's just we'll move on. We don't want to be highlighting the lowlights. So I like to think then the upside down smiling face is the Wojak with the angry face, and then behind is a smiling face.
Yeah, exactly. It's the inverse, you know? You're faking sadness, but really you're just like, I don't care.
Like, oh no, Orion is ill, I have to cast. Like that.
Yeah, there you go. That's an upside down sad face moment right there.
There we go. We've got
it. We'll just be straight up happy. Never mind, it's going to be close. Bagels!
He's got
to
it
the
again.
line, has sniped vigq. I didn't see, did vigq actually touch? It looked like vigq had the speed.
Looks like he just gave up. He was just like, you know what? Haven't gone down here. Maybe it's quicker. Who knows? Yeah, must have had a touch. Not consistent. Clipped
He
on the
clipped on
plastic
the
from
left.
production.
Okay.
See, someone paying attention. That's
It
always
was,
good
I
to
mean,
see.
that was it. It didn't look to me. I genuinely thought he still had the speed coming out of that one, but obviously decided that he didn't. Bagels continues to have a bit of a run of luck here, sniping people at the finish line. He's doing what we kind of so often say a quote-unquote underdog will have to do in these matches where you are the underdog, which is just, hey, drive it consistent. Don't worry about, you know, pushing to beat your opponent's PBs. Trust that they're going to push to beat their PBs themselves and make mistakes doing so. And Bagels has absolutely been in position to capitalize over and over.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe vigq's been training on a version of this map that just doesn't have the last sort of 5 seconds. Oh, Bagels there.
Vanished.
Banished into the Shadow Realm. And we're seeing vigq stretching his lead as he does at this part of the map, but all this is trivial because it comes to this last section. Will he be able to bring it home this time around? Have not seen the consistency in the ending here. Is seemingly doing okay. Gets the dirt. Sticks it well. Seanywolf is kind of catching up. Made a 10th in that last split there. It is going to be getting closer and closer. Maybe vigq's just saving, trying to make sure he gets to the end, and we see makes it to the channel. Seanywolf coming over the line sideways like I do in arcade racing games when I want to get the cool, you know, the screenshot, by the way. Burntbagels is going to DNF. You know when you get the screenshot of you going over the line? And then you do that. You just rotate, so you get like a, oh, look at me, I'm facing backwards, haha, moment. But vigq has comfortably found himself 23 points.
Yeah. Now, vigq's reasoning in chat there is quite interesting, which is that vigq is still just malding over Sun Petal Gardens. Which, given that I think there's a decent chance that he ends up having to try and eliminate someone on Sun Petal Gardens or face dropping to last chance himself with the buffer that he has at the moment, maybe a worry for vigq there. Maybe time to get a little bit nervous. Now, still did well on the map, right? I think that's important to note, is however much he's upset about it, did win on it 3 times, but did DNF on it once.
Yeah, I mean, he did, like you mentioned, not only did he win on it 3 times, his times were a 53-1, a 53-1, and a 53-2. Yeah. So again, maybe some bait here. Maybe he just doesn't like it. Maybe he hates the scenery. Can't rule that out. I think it's quite nice, but maybe he hates the scenery. Maybe he hates like green-white
magic cards.
Maybe he does. Traditionally, you know, a lot of tokens. Yeah, a lot of life gain. A 101 flat here, a very good time. Only 7/10. 7/10 off, and I think that's a testament, right? vigq has put in a good time there. I still don't have their records, so that maybe that was his own PB. But Burntbagels had to PB and was still a 10th off. So there is still that gap, but that gap has been fairly nullified in this game by the consistency. Like
I can confirm that was 4/10 off vigq's PB, who does have a very strong PB on this map, currently 9th overall, by far the highest rated Div 2 player on this one. So yeah, vigq is just very quick on all these maps. I know it's warm up, but that was just 2 players driving face first into the pole together, hand in hand, smashing their heads against the wall and having to come back to liberty. And we'll see who smashes into that finish line a little bit, because look, at the moment, Bagels and Shawnee both very much at risk of dropping to last chance, but we have seen shakeups at the finish line here. We've seen vigq have a few moments when he gets there as well. One thing's for sure, someone is going to be on last chance before we leave this map.
I will definitely take your word on that one, Nua. I'm not doing the maths on stream while also having to do the talky words. But last time out, Seanywolf and vigq split the honors on this map, 2 wins apiece. Seanywolf actually finished every round in the top 2. So that is a good sign for Shawnee. Should be able to deliver here. We weren't, again, these weren't the best of times. They were arguably the worst of times, but they were able to come home in the top 2 in every single round. Burntbagels did have a bit of a nightmare on this one with 3 last places, so not looking good for Bagels. This might be the end of breakfast as we know it by the time we get to the end of this map. His hope is to make it to the end of this map, and ultimately I think Seanywolf kind of wants Bagels to stay in this for a little bit longer, because the more time there are 3 people in the match, the less time he will be knocked out in last chance.
Yeah, it's definitely what you want to do. At the moment, it's a decent start for Bagels, just edging out Seanywolf through the first couple of checkpoints, but will just fly off the edge of the map. And you know what? Well, that's going to be a little bit rough for Bagels. Not an ideal second turn, as I say. He's having a decent time of it. Vigq and Shawnee out to a lead. It is close up the front. I'm going to hold my breath until we actually get these cars safely across the line, though.
Yeah, nothing can be assumed or given on this map. We're actually in for a bit of a treat here with only about 10 seconds, 5 seconds ago. We got Seanywolf going for the big finish. Really good landing, but see, that's another aspect of this finish that we didn't really cover when we were reviewing it earlier. It's on an angle. If you send it, you get there earlier. It's trivial, it seems, from the outside. You know, what's half a tenth between friends? But Vigq made up a lot of time there, just in that
Really
ending.
did.
Seanywolf landed early and had the car point in the wrong direction, so did spend a tiny bit of time getting that back over the line. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Might see a snipe that we're not expecting. Is a lot of time to be made and an awful lot of time to be lost in that final finish.
I really did. I saw the takeoff from Shawnee and Vigq at the end there, and I thought Vigq had him. I tell you what, don't know if Vigq has him in this round. An early touch means that he is going to be dropping down. It's Bagels and Shawnee to carry the torch forward in this one. Vigq actually not too far behind, has only lost about 2/10, so definitely still in position to pick up some points in this round. And Bagels is really just looking to avoid third place. Third place at this point will send Bagels immediately to last chance. Do not pass go. Shawnee picking up the first place in the previous round, and potentially another first place here, is managing to haul Vigq back in just a little bit. Would love to see Vigq pick up a third place in this round, but that relies on Bagels holding him off for a little while longer. And Vigq is gaining, continues to gain, goes on the inside. Bagels with more speed up the hill, and Vigq will go over the line. Bagels wins. Shawnee crashed. Vigq takes second. And that is disaster for Seanywolf.
What happened? See, this is another one of those maps where it's very difficult to follow once we get to the end, because you see people resetting, you see people bouncing.
Vigq decided he didn't have the speed and didn't want to risk the risky fin. Bagels decided he had that risky fin, no problem. And Shawnee just crashed. That's all that happened to Shawnee.
All of the variables, all of the variations.
Literally, I think basically, all three options at the finish were followed there.
Except just landing the finish, which we've come to expect.
Bagels did that.
Okay, no, that's fair. That is fair.
We had one person make the risky fin, one person go for the safe fin, and one person crash.
Yep, and this little piggy went home. Here we see Seanywolf and Vigq cannot be separated, driving within each other, but Vigq pulling out a little bit of a gap there in the dirt section. We've got a bit of time to make up here for Shawnee. Like I said, very different lines through this map still for the players. Lots of balance there between risking and keeping it safe. Seeing a little bit of consistency come in, but still got to get to the end. That's where the points are handed out. You don't get points midway through, and as we come to the end,
Vigq, no! Oh, Shawnee, no! Bagels! Bagels wins! That is huge for Bagels, who stays on 3 points. Shawnee drops the last chance. That was literally the only way that could happen in this round. If Shawnee came last and Bagels won, it's Shawnee to last chance first. It's Bagels alive on 3. Vigq sits on 30. That is not out of reach. That is not undoable. I mean, did look good on Sun Petal Gardens. I'll be honest, I think at this point I'm expecting Vigq to win the match, but Bagels versus Shawnee is the story right now.
Yeah, gotta be focusing on looking backwards here for Shawnee rather than looking forwards. Came in undefeated, is looking down the barrel of, let's not forget it, last place in this match. Yes, someone dropped out, so they'll be getting 0 points, but of the people who showed up, he's looking down the barrel of a L here. So we'll be excited to see. Has been able to find his way back up to the front. Chris has said the gears, and as we have well established, I don't believe in gears. So they just went slower for no apparent reason. And we're seeing Vigq and Seanywolf now battling at the front. All of this is fairly trivial because I don't think Shawnee will be able to get anywhere near Vigq being in last chance. It is all about survival. It's all about not finishing third in this match. And at the moment, he's doing everything he needs to do, but Burntbagels gets a tap. Seanywolf!
I don't understand how Bagels gained on that finish. He touched the wall, right? Like, he got really close to it at the very least. Impressive anyway, but it does mean double last chance. It means Vigq, in order to turn this into a triple last chance, would have to come last 4 times in a row. on Sun Petal Gardens, a map that he won 3 rounds on previously. I'm a level with you. I think we are about to see vigq wrap this one up in the next probably 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah, I think 3 might be a bit of copium there. This is definitely the map he had most success on the first time out. It's definitely what we're expecting him to do particularly well on. He is, his own words, molding about it, but he appears to be turning that energy into pure pace and fire, and Burntbagels there showing that maybe this isn't his best map. As we mentioned, did come last 3 times out when we were here. So, yeah, not looking good. Seanywolf was able to bring it back to the double last chance, so has given himself an extra life, but will need about 5 or 6 lives. And last I checked, he wasn't a cat.
True. vigq had the DNF here last time around. To be fair, it wasn't the last round on it. Immediately went back and won another round on the map. So I think he exercised that curse pretty quickly. It was not kind of something that has been there as much as he's kind of said, oh, I'm still molding about Sun Petal Gardens and stuff. Did immediately manage to kind of get retribution. So we're not worried necessarily for vigq in this round. We are worried for Shawnee. We are worried for Bagels. It is double last chance. It all comes down to who can beat the other. We're going to assume that vigq is going to be in the top 2 until we see evidence to the contrary. We're underway. One of these players takes their first 3rd place of the season.
Very much so, and we are looking now, all 3 drivers separated by practically no time at all. Burntbagels has found himself a little bit wide there, is losing time, but has been the absolute master of just pulling time out of his ass as he gets to the end. Seanywolf on the back of vigq. Again, all of this will be trivial, as we do not believe that Seanywolf will be able to catch vigq, but does just need to stay ahead of Burntbagels. Burntbagels had 3 tenths down. Seanywolf is driving middle of the road, not giving himself any chance to bonk, but that is allowing Burntbagels to start to build the comeback. We're heading in to the final dirt turn, vigq touch, so that will mean that this won't be any Burntbagels touch. We're going into the risky finish. vigq is not that warm, but
oh, it's a disaster. Bagels touches in the final dirt. No speed for the finish. Shawnee will take at least 2nd place and at least 2nd place overall in Div 2. Bagels, a strong performance. As we said, came in 13th seed, and that is still, in week 5, his first 3rd place of the season. It has all been wins or seconds other than that. Congratulations to Bagels for a fantastic BIPL Season 2. And here we are with this final battle, the top 2, Shawnee versus vigq, and it is vigq still on 22 points with 8 points for 2nd place from now on out. That means 5 wins in a row for Shawnee necessary, and vigq has already found the lead in number 1 of those 5.
Yeah, vigq comfortable at the moment. Is finding himself 3 tenths ahead, looking to put another win in the column for this map. But we did see lose a lot of time there towards the end, and almost let Burntbagels back through, if not for his own bonk. But so far, we are almost to the end of this map here. Only 10 seconds left to go. Is finding it still nice and comfortable. Hits that outside dirt. Seanywolf hits it a little bit harder, and vigq just has to get through to the finish. Very comfortable, brings it home in 1st place, and that will be our Division 2 champion, vigq. Congratulations. What a showing.
Yeah, congratulations to vigq. Undefeated across 5 weeks of competition. The best the rest could throw at him, not quite enough. And commiserations to Seanywolf for what was still a very, very strong season, and will get promotion to Div 1 along with it. Just couldn't quite take down vigq at the end there. You have to give credit. Like, 18 points is the difference at the end. I think it looked like vigq was going to come out on top for a little while there, but still relatively close when you actually look at how things shook out. And it was a bit of a rough start for vigq at the top of that match as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think not the best showing for anyone on some of those maps. I think Burntbagels, let's just reiterate, did a great job. Almost bought a 3rd place for Seanywolf, which would have been great to see, but did fall. It's the nature of having 2 of the top seeds. Well, I say 2 of the top seeds. vigq, if I'm not mistaken, was not a top seed. No, can you remind me of this fact?
I can confirm that vigq coming in was the top seed in Div 2.
I take it back. I have confused vigq for someone else. vigq has done exactly what he should do. He's won every single round, and that's why Statman normally has his stats spreadsheet in front of him and not a webcam.
Yeah, no, it was vigq first seed coming in, Seanywolf second seed coming in as well. And that's how they finished it up. 20 points for vigq, 19 for Seanywolf. And unavailable then to be caught, they will finish in those top 2 positions and guarantee themselves spots in Season 3's Div 1. We'll see. I don't know if we're going to manage to get an interview with vigq. Is this a thing that we are looking to do? I don't see him in the Discord server. And so, Thomas, I am flirting with the idea of throwing to a break.
I'm floating the idea of finding the nearest pool of water and throwing myself head first into it, because it is a billion degrees in this room. Yeah. But we are stalling for time here while we try and see if we can get an interview. We're going to see if he wants to come in and have an interview, and a winner's interview, a champion's interview, one might say.
A Div 1 player's interview, even.
Indeed.
Gotta feel good.
Gotta feel good. If I was Div 1, I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, never happened. But, you know, it'd be nice. I'd cheer for you.
Yeah, someone would have to. You know what I mean? I can't.
Yeah. I don't think it's mandatory. We don't provide cheerleaders free of cost for our Div 1 players.
That's true. They just get there with their electric personalities.
True. All right, Thomas, you know the drill. You got to go in there and double check that vigq's mic is working.
That is true.
Off you go. Goodbye now. Everyone can look at Thomas, and now I am free to say whatever I want about him. Isn't he doing a great job? Isn't it? It's just lovely. Doing very well, making the jump from production over to the casting side of it. It's been very impressive. And of course, so is vigq's performance. And we are going to get vigq in here in just a quick second, as Thomas confirms that he's not going to be cursing. He's not going to be swearing, that his microphone does work. Thomas, are we good to get vigq in here? Yes, we are. vigq.
I will admit, didn't ask about the swearing. So...
All right, vigq, no swearing. Keep it calm, okay? I know it's a big moment. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Div 1. This is a Div 1 player interview at this point, with 20 points, locking up Division 2 undefeated. I mean, first of all, how's it feel?
It feels good, yeah.
Feels all right. Yeah, delighted to hear that.
It was a bit yuck, though. A little bit.
You had a rough start to the match, and then a very rough round back on Sun Petal Garden.
Yeah. I just don't like that map at all. It's like everything about it.
Luckily, it's... Oh, no, we're definitely in hours where Ski Freak might be awake, so he probably heard you say that, man. I'm sorry.
Good.
Hey, fair enough. How are you feeling coming into this week in general, then? Obviously, you weren't looking forward to Sun Petal Garden, but were you still confident? Because you basically won every round on it, then. Yeah,
like, to be honest, I lacked motivation a little bit, but, like, confidence was there and I practiced. But I am happy with it, yeah. So it's good.
Yeah, Bagels put up a fight in that match. That was true. Bagels' first third place of the season as well. Everything else has been a top 2 for him. Has obviously, I think, just overall been a surprise to everyone over the course of this season. But were you still kind of surprised at how he played over the course of that match?
Yeah, he played really, really well. Yeah, at the start too. Yeah.
It was just impressive.
Luckily, though, it wasn't Worm. So it was nice fight. So
you knew you were safe.
Yeah.
That's fair. And Shawnee, how did you feel about his performance? Do you think that, were you expecting better? Were you expecting him worse? Was it on par with kind of where you expected things to end up?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Hardly fair. Is there anything else, Thomas, that you would like to ask vigq while we have him here?
What's the beef with Sun Petal Gardens? I think it's quite a nice looking map.
So there's like no ice and everything, right? No ice slide.
Okay, that seems like a pro in the column, if I'm being real.
The grass part's way too long. It's a bit boring.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The drift, like narrow drift, is kind of bad. Don't like that. And then the dirt after that as well.
I see.
But the
you did win.
And the ending.
You did win 4 of 6 maps.
The ending is the worst part. It's so bad.
Okay. Okay. I wish I hated things I was good at too. That would be good for everyone.
You would have to be good at something first, Thomas.
That is the issue. I've been missing that step this whole time. Yeah, we're trying. This is why I'm in so many roles. You know what I mean? Yeah. Start off in production, not good at that. Start off Statman, wasn't great at that. Now casting, it's all downhill from here.
Vigq, you will no longer be in Division 2. We don't really know who's going to be in Division 2 for Season 3 of BIPL, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Just throw out a name. Who do you think's going to win Division 3 next season? Or Division 2 in Season 3? No spoilers. No spoilers. Who do you think's going to win Division 2 with you gone?
I think it could be Bagels.
You think Bagels can step up big?
Yeah.
Continue to push forward?
Yeah.
Well, this is assuming Bagels just doesn't grind his way up to take one of the open spots in Div 1 for Season 3, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely possible. Hey, that's a name for it. Vigq, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
Congratulations for your win. Is there any final thing you want to say to the stream here in Season 2 of BIPL before we let you go?
I don't really know, but thank you for me on.
Well, listen, delighted to have you. Thank you very much, everyone who's joined us so far. We're going to head to a quick break, and we return after that break with the action from Division 1 as the battle for third place rages.